Liverpool last night made sure that the only four that Man United were going to get this season was the top four goals from a top team put past them in succession last night, making it 9-0 on aggregate this season when we played against Manchester United, 5-0 when it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and 4-0 under Ralph Rangnick. Now, one thing that does, and this is just an off the cuff type video. There's no planning for it. I'm going to talk about the game and everything that's like sort of to do with the game and stuff like that. But when I say off the cuff, I'm just going to go and we're just going to see what comes out. Because a lot of people, for some reason, if you go back and look at the influences for Jurgen Klopp and his coaching career and stuff like that, one of the most prominent names he always says is Sachi. Go and look up who he is. What an absolute legend, right? Manchester United fans keep writing this narrative that Ralph Rangnick is the guru, the godfather of Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, etc., saying that he was the inventor of pressing and all this sort of stuff, and that Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel really look up to someone like Ralph Rangnick. I'm not saying that Ralph Rangnick's not good at what he can do. What he's good at is not being a manager. That is clear as day to see. It's not something that he's going to be good at. It just isn't. Because being as far into this job as he is, he should have at least, you should see an impact. And you don't. You're just seeing a slightly worse version of what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was doing in charge of Manchester United. The only reason that Manchester United are even within anywhere near of a sniff of top four has been because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, in my preview, I completely forgot what had happened to Cristiano Ronaldo personally. And I offer my thoughts and condolences for him because I can't feel what that would be like to go through what he has gone through either this week or whenever it was. I know he announced it this week and stuff like that. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what that's like. I can only imagine what it must be like to have lost a child in any circumstance at any age. I don't know what that's like. So my condolences and not commiserations, but my thoughts with him and his family, because that's devastating. So I thought that Ronaldo was going to be playing last night until like later on in the day. I just didn't. There was no point posting up an updated video. But he's the main reason that they're anywhere near a top four. Anywhere near. It's down to him. They should have lost against Norwich. A Cristiano Ronaldo hat-trick bails them out. And I'm not even joking. I'm not even saying it just to belittle Manchester United fans or anything like that. You should have lost against Norwich. I always come into every single game that Liverpool play with a good amount of respect of our team and the opposition team as well, and also a little bit of fear. Just because anything can happen on any given day. Anything can happen. It really, really can. We've seen it happen. We had that great run the year that we won the title, and it was derailed by Watford. We got beat 3-0 by Watford. Incredible. When we had all of our injuries and stuff last year, and we're losing games to like Burnley, and we're losing to Fulham and stuff like that, and Anfield doesn't look like a fortress. Anything can happen. I expected a harder game than we were given. And the only reason that game was 4-0 and not any further, because any honest Liverpool fan, Manchester United fan, or a football fan just in general, because there will have been, despite Man United not being at their best, there will have been a lot of people, neutral fans, maybe other opposite rival fans and stuff like that as well, will have been watching that game last night with interest. You will have had, I want to have a look at the table just now, you will have had West Ham fans, Arsenal fans and Spurs fans at least watching that game to see if, for them, they don't care that Liverpool are going for the title. All they care about is the top four and who's in. There's about 4 or 5 teams. I'll say 4: West Ham, United, Arsenal, and Spurs. I think Wolves are just a little bit too far off, but you never know. They've got 6 games left to play. You've got it between those four teams, essentially top four. That's what they will have been concerned about. United have to go and play, I think, Arsenal this weekend, and then they go and play, I think, maybe midweek or something. They got to go play Chelsea. So in succession, they'll have played Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. There's a real possibility that you're going to see Manchester United after the recruitment drive that they had in the summer, that they're going to drop and they could finish as low as eighth. Where are Leicester? Leicester are probably too far off on 40 points. So you're probably looking as low as eighth is where Man United could finish. And that's not even a bad prediction. It's really, really not. I can't fathom having that level of recruitment and the players they brought in, Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane, Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, that was the biggest one. And, I remember it. Manchester United have won the transfer window. Not saying that Ronaldo wasn't a good buy for them, but when they start turning around and saying that he's the problem, he's kind of the only difference in Manchester United being close to a top four position whatsoever. And then when I see the type of game Man United put out last night, as soon as they lined up with a back four and two DMs, I thought, well, it's open season for Liverpool if they want it. Now, I believe that Liverpool wanted it, but make no mistake, I think if I'm going to use the UK driving method of having 6 gears in a car, I'd be hard pushed to say that Liverpool even got out of second. I think they dropped it down to first gear in the second half. Basically, sort of gave some of the ball to Man United in the second half and just said, just see what you can do with it. There was only one moment that I remember feeling a little bit threatened. And it was, I can't remember which centre-back it was. I'm going to say it was Lindelof. Like, put a long ball over the top, and Rashford, it's just, he controlled it like he didn't want it. He controlled it like he wanted rid of that ball. You take that maybe 2-3 years ago, Rashford may be quick enough, he hits that on the volley as it's coming down. You think back to United players that would have done something like that, like Robin van Persie years ago when they won the title. Ball coming over the top from Rooney and smashing it on the volley. That's the type of thing that you were expecting. This one, he looks like he's trying to control it going one way, and his body and his mind are doing two completely different things. You could probably say that about, most of the United players. The only guy you can't really do anything about is David De Gea. United fans say this themselves. There's not really much you can criticise David De Gea for because of the 10 outfield players that are in front of him. You look at Man United as a team sheet and how it's billed, and I think it was Gary Neville actually said this last night, in that it's the way United, when they bring in players, do it in a different way to everybody else, and they'll love it because it's all PR and it's all about, money, brand deals, everything like that. So you even go back, and Gary Neville said this, and you hark back to them bringing in Alexis Sanchez and the whole great big piano cinematic and stuff like that. Pogba, when he came in, and I remember the whole Pog back campaign, and it was massive. It was enormous. What did those players ever do for United? I know they won the Europa League at one point. I can't remember which cup they won under Jose Mourinho. The fans turn around and say he's one of their worst managers. He's the only manager that actually won silverware out of anybody else that came after Fergie. I don't understand what actually. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm loving it as a Liverpool fan. I don't understand what's actually going on at Manchester United. I don't get it when I see, thankfully, the polar opposite happening for Liverpool. I look at our recruitment, and I was speaking to a friend yesterday, went and hung out for a couple of hours before the game, and went and spoke to a friend, and we were talking about, even likes of Diogo Jota, a signing that came out of nowhere, and at the time, no one was really kind of like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. Like, it was kind of left field. And what I mean by that, it was sort of like, didn't really see us making that sort of signing. Wonder what will, I know at the time at Wolves, he was a left-sided player. Didn't really know much about him. I hadn't really kept a great eye on him because I didn't think he was going to be someone that we would go and get. Didn't think that would be something that we would be looking at. Cut to this season, and also last season when he came in, Diogo Jota, integral player, could be a first-team starter at any point. Luis Diaz comes in January for us, and the guy looks like he's played for us for like 5 years. Thiago, didn't know that we were going to be getting Thiago for as little. I think we got 20 million or something like that, whatever it was. I didn't know that Liverpool were going to get Thiago. Didn't really know how he was going to fit in the system, but what a player. What a player Thiago is. All right, might have taken him a little while to get going properly, but again, he's a bit... I like to have what I call the pillars of the starting 11, like your strongest starting 11. And for me, the pillars have always been, like for the last couple of years, it's Alisson, you got Van Dijk, Fabinho, and then in the front three, you'd normally be looking at like the likes of Salah and Mane. Now, we've seemed to be getting, our recruitment's got to a point where we are adding more pillars. We're not just adding squad players or first team starters, we are adding pillars where it looks like more players are cementing their place in the first team for us. So for me, whenever I want to do a predicted lineup and we're coming up against a team that I think is going to present us with a challenge or could be difficult, could be tricky, could be a Champions League semi-final game, could be like, a title race, quality game. Now the pillars are expanding a little bit more. So then it becomes difficult because that's where you've got to use your squad rotation. You look at the front line for Liverpool, making a choice between Salah, Mane, Jota, Luis Diaz. There's 4 players. Bobby Firmino less so, but he's still an integral option at times, and still, depending on the game, you need someone like a Firmino. So I'm going to say the 5. And then behind them, you've got the likes of Minamino and Origi. You got 7 options in attack. 5 of them you would consider to be first team, important, integral pillars of the team. You then go into midfield, and the 2 for me that are instant, I think of, who would you have in your midfield 3? Bang, Fabinho, Thiago. Whoever comes next to them just benefits from being there. They'll have different qualities because then you've got to choose between the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita, James Milner. Straight away still, 7 options. And a good few of them, 3 or 4 of them, you could say, could be in for a shout for a first team spot. Pillars. And then you look at the back line. You got Andy Robertson, shoe-in. Trent, shoe-in. You got Virgil van Dijk, shoe-in. And then you got Joel Matip, Ibrahima Konate. And then behind that, you've now got Joe Gomez, unfortunately, because of his injury record that he's had and he's been dealing with. But when he's come into the team as a centre-back or as a right-back, it's been very, very good. Pillars. Alisson, first-team goalkeeper, pillar. Behind him, Kelleher, brilliant goalkeeper, brilliant young goalkeeper. Deserves more playing time, but the first team is doing so well. It's difficult for him at this stage of the season to get that game time with Liverpool. Behind that, you've got Adrian. All right, you know what? I don't have the best opinion of Adrian. Let us down a couple of times. But in general, you look at that as an entire... And then I'm not even taking into account the likes of Harvey Elliott. Incoming signings. Just before I started recording this video, there was a tweet from Fabrizio Romano saying that Liverpool are ready to get the contract sorted out for Fabio Carvalho from Fulham. They've now got their promotion sorted. They're going to be in the Premier League next season. Liverpool have been tracking Carvalho for a while, and I swear to God, I hope I've got his name right. I really do. But we've been tracking this player for a long time. He's been integral to Fulham getting up as well. But who else has performed really well at Fulham that is Liverpool linked? not just linked, parent club, Nico Williams. Nico Williams could play similar to Trent, right? And I want to come on to this point as well in just a second as well. I told you I'm going off on tangents, not necessarily talking a great deal about the game. I'm going off on tangents at this bit. Nico Williams can play right back. Absolutely he can, but he could play right wing as well. It's the brilliance of our system that it allows you to do this. It is going to bring me back, circle back to the game and the formations chosen. But I've said it in my previews and stuff like that as well, that it's not necessarily a back four for Liverpool. It can turn into a back three. Fabinho drops in a little bit, helps out those centre-backs sometimes. But sometimes he doesn't, and he just leaves it to the centre-backs because they're that quality at reading, scanning the pitch to see things. All right, you'll see Van Dijk, Matip on the halfway line and stuff like that as well. But they're not just stood there like statues. They are scanning. They are looking at danger, possible dangers, what could be coming, what could happen, scenario makers. We have a lot of the ball, but what could happen if we lose it here? Got to get on the back foot and get back and suss out the trouble that is coming our way. Now, I mentioned Nico Williams because I think he's actually done really well at Fulham. I think his loan move has been a good one. And I think when he comes back next year, I hope we keep him. And I hope we're able to rotate him into the team a lot more every now and again to give Trent that little bit of rest, especially when it comes up, towards the World Cup and stuff like that. It's going to need a lot more rotation. But Nico Williams could also play right wing. Trent Alexander-Arnold plays so high up the pitch, he might as well be a right winger. People keep talking about Trent being in the midfield. Oh, you could move Trent into the midfield because of his range of passing, because he's that good from right back. Imagine what he's like from centre mid. Doesn't really make sense though, because he operates on the right hand side, up high up the pitch, but he will cut in when he needs to, and he'll come into the midfield when he needs to, when he finds that space, when he finds openings in different areas. It allows the front three to play wide when they want to, and collaborate a little bit with Trent and Robertson on the other side as well, not forgetting about Robertson, and Tsimikas as well. Quality. You see what I'm saying about our squad depth and our recruitment and everything like that. And I don't want to get away from the point that I was making, but it also allows the front three, yes, they can play wide, but they can also play narrow if they want to, and they can interchange. So you're going to see the likes of like Salah would be out here, Mane would be out here, and let's say, or Mane through the middle, Luis Diaz out here. These guys can just switch. You could have Salah at left wing, you could have Mane at right wing, Luis Diaz through the middle, and switch it. You could have Salah through the middle, Luis Diaz on the right, Mane on the left. It just switches and it's fluid. It's drilled. And then if you want that width, you've got Andy Robertson on the left-hand side, you've got Trent on the right-hand side, pushing up, almost making it an opposite 5-3-2. And having the attacking players as 5, midfield 3, and then your 2 defenders. And then the triggers are there. Lose the ball, bang, everyone drops and brings it back. But it's not like desperation. It's drilled. It's well drilled. We're going to come on to that a little bit as well. This is going to be a bit of a longer video than normal. You're seeing the recruitment of Liverpool against a team like Manchester United. Throughout my entire childhood, I grew up, wherever I lived, I grew up there was Manchester United fans everywhere. Everyone had a Man United top. When I went to school and stuff like that, it was Man United, and you'd get laughed at for being a Liverpool fan, for supporting Liverpool, right? And now it's the opposite, because, all right, take away the fact that, like, I'm obviously not at school anymore or anything like that, but you're not seeing as many Man United fans, and you're seeing a lot of Man United fans that, like, I've known, a lot quieter these days, don't really say much, there's no banter. The only thing that they would ever come back at you with is like, well, we've won a treble. It's like, cool, outstanding, it's 23 years ago. Who cares? It's a fantastic achievement. It's like when Arsenal talk about the Invincibles, great achievement. I can't take it away from you. It was like 17 years ago, though. Like, what are you doing now? Not a lot. Like, there is none of that. And all it genuinely comes down to is we are being run like a football club and we want to be successful on the pitch. Manchester United are being run like a business, and it's all about elevating profits. Doesn't matter how they do it. Elevating profits and taking money out. Doesn't really matter. When do United spend serious amounts of money? When they're not in the Champions League. So expect a recruitment drive in the summer coming up, because that's all it'll be about, is to get back into the Champions League. And once they're in the Champions League, cut the ties on the money. Gone. That's all it'll be about. Get back in the Champions League, gets that revenue that we're going to get, sponsors, everything like that. We're in the biggest competition in the world. Maybe there's penalties, that are attached to some sponsorships. If you're not in the biggest competition in the world, do you have to then pay penalties to your sponsors because you're not in that premium competition? I don't know. That side of it, of football, I'm interested on what happens on the pitch. And maybe that's a bit ignorant of me. But all I've seen over the last 7 years, 7 years, is it 7 years? 6 years, Jurgen Klopp, all I've seen is a steady curve. And I know we had the whole European Super League thing with the owners last year, but in general, we've recruited well without overspending massive amounts of money. We're not like, I know the whole Salah contract situation and stuff like that can be a little bit frustrating to look at, but when you look at the big picture, I reckon that Liverpool will be doing things behind the scenes, and I think a lot of it actually hinges on what Liverpool might win by the end of this season. I do think there's another trophy in it. I don't know which one it is. Can't predict. I'm not that good. I'm not Doctor Strange. I can't look into the future and see different. I'm not that person. I'm just not. I think there's another trophy for Liverpool, but I don't know what it is. And I think that sort of thing could hinge, like the talks and developments between Salah and Liverpool could hinge on what happens there. But Liverpool aren't wanting to get themselves into a situation like United do. What happened with United when they brought Alexis Sanchez in? Man's on mega money. What are the changing rooms going to do? Whoa, he's just walked in. He's not had a good season at Arsenal at that time. Walked into United and got, I think he was the highest paid player in the team. Of course, the rest of the team are going to go in, well, if he's worth that much, then I must be worth at least this much. And that's why you're seeing Manchester United paying 120, 140 grand a week to a backup goalkeeper who never plays in Dean Henderson. Who does that? Their backup goalkeeper is on probably more money than some first team players at Liverpool. Let's be real. Their starting goalkeeper's on at least 300 a week. It's all about getting the premiums, but they're not doing it in the right way. They're absolutely rinsing money on. There was a report or something. I read a report or listened to a report of Pogba being offered a 450 grand a week contract to stay at Manchester United. What? Do it, please do it. The more this continues for Manchester United, the more that we are going up like this, and I'm seeing United come down like this. I enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure everybody enjoys it apart from Man United fans, because they're seeing their team and their club decline, and it's happening probably, I would say, in a worse way than it was for Liverpool at one point. Because the great fact about this rivalry with Manchester United is that even Liverpool at our worst, we would still give a good game. We would give a good account of ourselves against Manchester United, and we might lose more often than not back then. But we would always give a good account of ourselves. We would try. There would be effort. And it would just come to the fact that we weren't good enough at that time. There is no effort. There's no application from this Manchester United team. There's absolutely nothing. I don't believe Pogba was injured yesterday. I really don't believe Pogba was injured yesterday. I believe he got into that game 10 minutes, maybe felt a little bit of something, but if he's playing for France in a final, he carries on. He carries on. He carries on like he's carrying the flag on his back. But for Manchester United and the fact that he might miss out on a move in the summer because of a potential injury, let's be real, I think that's why Pogba went off after 10 minutes. 180 minutes we have played against Manchester United this season, and Paul Pogba has played 24. Got sent off in the first game after coming on at half time and two-footing Naby Keita, and then came off after 10 minutes in this game, got replaced by Jesse Lingard in a 5-3-2 or whatever it was trying to be, 5-2-1-2, whatever sort of formation they decided to go with. They had no chance against us yesterday. Liverpool basically just had to start the car and roll it downhill, and that's all we had to do. And this sounds really derogatory about what I'm saying about Manchester United, but when you're someone that grew up seeing United conquer all and have all these players and win pretty much everything and do it year in, year out, like, I'm surprised that the club don't see what they were, what they are now, and how they can't just go, we need to change things. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. Their owners don't care. Their owners, they don't even... The owners of Manchester United are more likely to go and watch the F1 in Britain at Silverstone than they are to turn up at Old Trafford to watch a game. Says everything. I know our owners aren't at every game at Liverpool, but they're always there for the big ones. If Liverpool get to a Champions League final, you better believe that John Henry and his family and other owners, they're going to be there. If we get to an FA Cup final, well, we are in the FA Cup final, they will be there. They will absolutely be there. If Liverpool are in with a shout of, depending on what happens with Man City, for the rest of the season, it's still in their hands for the title. But if Liverpool win the title, and like it's on the final day of the season, owners, they will be there. We're just in a much different place. It's literally like there has been a straight swap. Our recruitment is better. Our players are better. Our coach is better. Our manager is better. The coaching staff are better. The players are in tune with everything that goes on at that club, on the pitch and off the pitch as well. The exact opposite is happening at United. The best thing that I saw last night that made me just go, this is incredible, was the first goal for Salah. That one-touch passing between, I think you had, I can't remember who came deep, and passed it to Matip. Might have been Luis Diaz. Passed it to Matip. Luis Diaz passed it to Matip, passed it back to Diaz, passed it to Matip, one-time touch, bang, into Mane. Mane flicks it round the corner, one-time touch, into Salah, goal. How well drilled is this Liverpool team? How well coached is this Liverpool team? The mentality and the physicality to go along with doing it again for this Liverpool team. That's your difference. They're on board with everything that the manager's asking them to do. Anything that Klopp has asked these players to do, and the players that have been brought in, have been to benefit the system. There's no scattergun type signings that you're just like, well, how's that player going to fit in the system? Everybody that's been recruited over the last 5 or 6 years has been to the benefit of the system. It's not about having the great big star names. It's why I'm pretty sure we'll never pick up the likes of an Erling Haaland, an Mbappe. Maybe not even a Darwin Núñez, because he does look like a star in the making. But I think he'd be really good at Liverpool. And I think he would be wasted at teams like Man United and Arsenal, if I'm being honest. I think you bring someone like a Darwin Núñez into Liverpool, again, another fresh face, someone that I think that could reinvigorate that attack even more. More options. Does it mean someone moves on? Maybe. But everything's been to the benefit of the system, to the benefit of the team, the players. And let's finish on the fact that, like, there's... When I look at Manchester United, there's no leaders. There's no one that leads that club. Like, I don't... He gets dumped on a lot, deservedly, and I'm not going to try and pile in on him, is Harry Maguire. How that man is a captain, I will never know. I genuinely don't know. Apart from the fact that he's a centre-back, I can't even remember if he was captain at Leicester. I don't remember. And then I look at our team, and you've got national team captains in our team. Previous captains or vice captains as well. I can't remember if Salah is national team captain or not, but he's a leader. Mane, the exact same. Can't remember if he's captain of Senegal, but he's a leader as well. You look at Jordan Henderson, captain of Liverpool, and he captains us with such pride and gives me pride because that's my captain. Doesn't matter regardless of what people think of his performances every now and again. Genuinely, he plays well more often than not, and he's a hell of a captain. Vice captain James Milner could easily be a captain in any team up and down the league. And I think I can't remember if he was at Man City, but even so, hell of a vice captain, hell of a leader. I also think the likes of Fabinho and Thiago, while they're not captains at Liverpool, I don't believe. I don't know what sort of hierarchy. I know we had Gini Wijnaldum at one point, but these guys, leaders on the pitch, communicating. Then you look at Andy Robertson, Scottish national team captain. Virgil van Dijk, pretty sure he's Netherlands captain. You've got guys like Trent, Matip, Konate. Konate's brand new in here, but he's, again, like Luis Diaz, comes into the team and he just fits. He fits. He suits the system. He suits the team. And Alisson, world-class goalkeeper, leader, communicator. Key thing is always communication. If you think of it, even like a relationship, what's the most key thing people say? Oh, it's that you love each other and stuff like that. Important things. Communication, listening. Communication and teamwork. That's what we have at Liverpool, and it's beautiful to see. In the same breath, that's what you don't see at Manchester United, and for me, it's beautiful to see. And I'm not being overly arrogant about it. Everything that's happening to Manchester United is deserved. Just like everything that's happening to Liverpool right now in terms of our success and our rise is deserved. This video has now been nearly 32 minutes long. It has been a long video, much more probably of some sort of rant, I'm sure, and I hope you can take away something from it. But in the end, we put 4 past Manchester United, and we did it without even really breaking a sweat, and it was beautiful. Our next game, I have to go and look at because I forgot what it is. We have, that's interesting. So, 24th of April. Is that Sunday? Oh, tell me that is Sunday, please. Is it Sunday or is it Saturday? Sunday, must be. 4:30 kickoff, Liverpool at Anfield versus Everton. I am billing this as a big game because it's a derby. You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. Like even Everton have beaten Man United this season. What? Oh my God. And it wasn't even like United just down tools within 5 minutes in that game as well. I'm hoping obviously that we go and do something similar to Everton, but the main thing that I want is a victory in that game. I still think it'll be a tough game. The couple of days in between this game and that game, and then after that, it's when we start kicking off into the Champions League again, 27th of April, Villarreal, at home at Anfield. We live for it, don't we? We absolutely live for it. So, anyway, I'm going to get out of here as well. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do feel free to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Please get your thoughts, feelings, and comments in the comment section below. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have a great day and a great rest of the week, and I'll catch you later.